We have reached the Northern Water Tribe. So we open up this episode with Zuko exploding because of his escapades in the last episode. Then we get into the Northern Water Tribe stuff. To my surprise, they actually call the city Agnakella, which is the name given in supplementary materials. They also meet Chief Arnuk, Palku, and Yue, who is the priestess of the city. Meanwhile, with Zhao, Zhao is clearly overacting about his desire to find out who killed Zuko. Based on how Iroh acts, he ain't buying it. But he accuses Ozai of doing it just so that Zhao doesn't assassinate him right then and there. We cut to Ozai being an awful parent as usual. Nuff said. We also get this conversation between Paku and Katara. Since rumors of the Avatar's adventures found their way to the Northern Water Tribe, Paku knows very much that Katara knows how to fight. Oh, and Yue's a waterbender in this. She uses it to make dessert. Glad that they made this change, because I did wonder as a child whether she could waterbend at all, being, the moon spirit and all. I think she's only shown bending while she's the moon spirit and never outside of being the moon spirit. I do love the awkward interactions between Yue and Sokka. Han's a lot nicer than his animated counterpart. Then we get the waterbenders making the ship traps out of ice. It's where we get some annoying exposition from Arnuk where he says, "Welcome to our ice wall. It has withstood attacks for over a century." The way this dialogue in the show goes is so annoying. We know what walls do. What Arnuk should have said is, position 12 of your waterbenders along the north side, we expect the Fire Nation to attack there, and I want any damage repaired before anyone can get through the walls. That makes more sense, and gives a lot more character, because Arnuk is the chief, and he's actually ordering people around. The amount of problems that come from just the dialogue alone is probably worth its own video, but I'm not the one to make it. Then we get the conversation about how the Northern Water Tribe does not allow women to fight. Would have been nice to mention the Southern Tribe where women were allowed to fight. In the very next scene, we see Han's backstory with Yue. Yue broke off her engagement. I just find it could have been an interesting dynamic if we discuss how odd it is that women can break off marriages and not have to run all the way to the South Pole, yet blood on their hands in combat is too much. Would have been an interesting dynamic, but apparently we had to burn through as much footage as possible. Anyways, Aang and Kuruk. It goes poorly. He goes about as well as you'd expect. Kyoshi's premonition of the Siege of the North will come to pass, but everything else, such as the fate of the Water Tribe and Waterbenders, is in flux. Kuruk can't help Aang because he damaged his own spirit. He can't be Kyoshi. Oh, and my hunch that Yue was the fox spirit who confronted Sokka in the spirit world was totally confirmed here. We do get more dialogue where Sokka does open up to Yue about how he feels inadequate as a warrior, which, well, helps. I wish we had more scenes like that, but hey, we had to cut to Paku and Katara's conversation about how things are done. Katara's saying she's been fighting the Fire Nation ever since she left home. Paku doesn't care. Once more, I bring up that you could add another layer to this conversation by saying that the waterbenders of the South Pole, many of whom were women, fought side by side with their male counterparts, and yet they were still wiped out to just one. What chances does the North have right here? Well, Paku probably doesn't have an answer. You don't even need to do much exposition. We all know Katara is the last waterbender of the South. All you have to do is say, do you think the women of the South Pole sat idly by in their healing huts while the Fire Nation wiped them out? Yeah, layers to this conversation. Aang is somehow taking Paku's side because of the possibility of losing Sokka and Katara. Geez, I wonder if this should have been developed a bit more beforehand. Then we get the Paku-Katara fight, which is stupid. I'm sorry, but I liked it better when Katara was trash-talking him during the fight in the animated series. Some of Katara's iconic shots from the original duel are reimagined here, such as the Ice Disc strike, but instead of actually just losing, she does lose. She doesn't win over Paku because Paku realized his traditions did end up harming his relationships. No, his way of losing his high ground is that his students flock to Katara and find her cool. That's just not great. Like, why? We completely remove the human element of Kana breaking off her engagement and running the length of the world away, just so that she wouldn't be ruled by the stupid traditions of the North. I mean, why would you make this change? It doesn't empower anyone. If anything, it just makes everyone more shallow. I am 7 hours into a show and I'm getting increasingly tired of saying it's just okay. I wish we spent a lot more time sitting down and breathing. This show does much better when we have those moments of levity. Instead, I feel like I'm having exposition shot and then delivered in strange ways, and the action isn't interesting when the movements and choreography feel like a shell of the original show. I hope the finale can make up for it. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.